Yeah, as the founder, of course, and president of the Center for China and Globalization, CCG now this year will be the 15th year of the CCG's establishment. We established the CCG at during the Beijing Olympic time. I mean, at that time, the slogan was one world, one dream, and so we actually very much look forward to see this globalization, which is taking shape in China, and China, embrace the world. And so I think the most memorable thing is that we actually built the CCG from a very small think tank to now we are ranked top 64 think tank in the world and top 50 non-government think tank in the world. So we're really working very hard, and so we hope that we can continue to work on that. I mean, one of the memorable things I had, for example, last year, I mean, we are the first think tank to come out of China during the pandemic. We conducted a visit to Asia, US, Europe, and we actually did twice for the last year. So that's really memorable. We met hundreds of people. We talked to different people. We have a very good memories. So that's really where we have good memories and a good experience. And also we welcome people from all over the world. And now with China open, we hope to have more visitors, more people to come, and we'll welcome interns as well. So this is really great that Center for China Globalization has become a leading, most active, one of the most active think tank in China, and become a platform of exchanges and also a bridge builder between China and outside the world. I really enjoyed our visit last year. I mean, we were actually is the first Chinese think tank ever, visited 6 countries in a row in 1 month, 30 days. We started from Singapore, then we went to US, New York, Washington, and then we went to Paris, Brussels, Berlin, and then we met so many people, hundreds of them, and we attended 70 events and meetings. So that's was a really memorable experience, because at the time we started, we don't know what's the outside world looks like. China was experiencing a lockdown, and we were afraid what kind of a COVID situation outside China. And since we haven't been traveled for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, so that was really a great experience we had. And then since then we have seen many, starting to see many Chinese delegation coming out. We're also starting to welcome our American friends, international friends come to Beijing. And so I think this ice-breaking and, first trip ever in the pandemic 3 years' time by a Chinese think tank, non-government think tank that coming out, we have received a very good welcome everywhere we go. And also we actually explained, what's happened in China, and really expressed our strong desire to welcome our friends, international friends, to visit China. So now the lockdown is lifted. China is totally open now. In January 8th, we would expect more people to come. So this is one thing I really remembered, that the first trip we took in the pandemic era. The second thing I think most memorable is this: during this 2.5 years of almost 3 years of lockdown in China, I had engaged with almost 100 dialogues with very senior people around the world, with all those thought leaders, opinion leaders, former politicians, businessmen. We talked with, for example, Larry Summers, Joseph Nye, Graham Allison, and Martin Wolf, and Pascal Lamy. And recently, just about 2 weeks ago, I talked to President of the Council of Foreign Relations, Richard Haas, and And before we talked with many heads of the think tanks, CSI's president, John Harry, and the Peterson Institute had, also, many of them, and Brookings, of course, John Thornton, for example, so Peterson Institute president Adam Prosen. I mean, so those dialogues we had added up as almost like 60, 70 of them, plus events we have is well over 100. Really impressive. We actually come up with books. Recently, we had a book published called, we selected a few dialogues as a volume 1. It's called the CCG Global Dialogue, in which we had a dialogue with Thomas Friedman, Joseph Nye, and also Graham Allison, Kishore Mahbani, and all those famous people, Martin Wolf. And so that book is already available online, CCG Global Dialogue. And also we published quite a number of English books. One book is called Consensus and Conflict or Consensus, China and Globalization in the 21st Century. So we predicted, there's a conflict. I mean, that happened between Russia and Ukraine. So how can we reach consensus? We had invited 35 top world thinkers to contribute to our book, which is also published a free download, open access. So many things memorable. And in the pandemic time, but whether we are doing it virtually or we actually embark on an actual tour, I mean, those are really memorable 3 years. And I think now we have finally got it over. I mean, those will go down in history as I'm sure many people will reflect that, many people will record that. And those are really very memorable of our experience as I'm running also the think tank. We are, even despite of COVID, we are still playing the bridge role virtually or in practice. So that's our mission. We will continue to do that, to be a bridge builder for China and outside world.